Hi, today I thought I would show the current progress of some of the new functionalities I've decided to add to the Unreal Engine version of my platform game that I've been converting over from Godot. So I'll start off by playing it. And you can see here I've got a ladder in here. I can walk up and down the ladder, and I can walk through like a roof area. I can walk down through that again, and also if you're off to the side, it sort of pulls you into the center. Some places it doesn't work because I haven't got that collision working properly, but you can see it pulls you into the center so that you can go through the roof. If you're slightly off, you can walk over and you can be pulled into the center. And you also can't leave that center area if you keep on pushing up or down, only up. If you're pushing down, you're actually hitting the floor and it no longer counts as being in that area. And also another thing that was added was blood drips. So now when a blood explosion happens, it'll drip from the roof. I haven't got this perfect at the moment. I wanted a random sort of drip, but it seems like they all drip around the same time, so I want to resolve that. But you can see here, if I add a lot of explosions, they'll all do their drips, and there we go. So if I jump out of this and I go over to the code initially for the climbing, so this is what I did for the climbing. So here, if you're moving up or down on the y-axis, well, obviously on the y-axis because you can't move up and down on the x-axis. If you move up or down, firstly it will set that it hasn't found a ladder, so you're not currently on a ladder. Then if you're not actually moving, so this move up will also happen if the axis value is 0. So it says if you're not moving, then we will initially just go and set our collision response for the player to be block for world static, and then it does the movement. If, however, you're moving up or down, so here if you're moving up or down, so you're not at 0 for the y-axis, it will do a line trace. So this is going to check if there's a ladder below, and I can show this by just turning on this for the duration and run this, and you can see if I push up or down, you can see that it's doing a ladder trace there. So if I'm on the other side, it does that too, and so that's showing that it's hitting the ladder. Right. So I'll turn that off again. So it does a trace to see if it will hit any blocking volumes. It only returns one blocking volume, however, so what I've done here is I've put the y-axis, which is the direction coming towards the camera, at 5 so that it won't hit any of the other tiles, and therefore it'll only hit the ladders. I loop through everything that it hit. If the item that was hit can be cast to a ladder, then it marks that as the ladder has been found, and it breaks out of the loop. It then moves on to say if it did find a ladder, if it did hit a ladder, then it will set the world location firstly to try to bring them into the center of the ladder. So if they're slightly outside the ladder, it'll bring them into the center of the ladder by trying to lerp their X location to the same X location as the ladder, which is the ladder here. Then once it's done that, it'll set the collision response to overlap, so then that will allow you to move through walls if there's a ladder in the way, or if there is a ladder that goes through the wall, it'll allow you to move through the wall, because it will it will set your collision response for the world static channel to overlap, so overlap world static volumes rather than being blocked by them, and then it does the movement. So that's all that was required to allow me now to walk through walls when I go up and down a ladder. There's possibly other ways of doing it, or better ways of doing it, but I don't know them, so I've just done it this way. The next one was the explosions creating blood drips. So this is using, I'll close these. This is using particles. So we've got a blood particle here and a blood drip particle. With the blood particle, it's just the blood particle that I was previously using, which does an active collision. That active collision will make it freeze when it hits a actor that is a world static actor. So that's what I previously had, and what it did when there was an explosion. So if I go here, and what I have is, if left shift is being pushed down, I just create an emitter, and with that I bind an event to onParticle collide. So when one of the particle collides, it'll run my custom event here. And my custom event here will check if the normal is less than 0, which means it is a roof item, and if that is true, it will spawn a new emitter at the location of that hit, and that new emitter is a blood drip. And so what I have then is, in my particles, I have a blood drip, and it spawns, and I probably need to fix up these settings, so I'm not going to go too deep into those settings. But what it does is it spawns this this blood drip, which you cannot see that well, at the location, and that'll start dripping blood. That will last for, I believe I've got a lifetime of between 3 and 30 seconds, and it'll drip blood between that period of time. And that's it. So now I'll just run that again. I'll do a few explosions here, and some of those will drip blood. Well, pretty much most of them will drip blood, and then they'll stop dripping blood and they'll start disappearing. And that's all. Thank you.